Hi, welcome to this quick shoulder refresher class. I'm Addie D. Hilster, and I'm going to be guiding you through this shorter practice to bring relief and awareness and aliveness to the shoulder and upper body area. This is an area that tends to feel a lot of tension or kind of get in that stuck mode if we've been doing certain activities or working a lot or sitting at the desk a lot or even just slept wrong on the shoulders. So hopefully this practice will help you to loosen up and bring a little bit more awareness to this area that you can take with you throughout the day. So we're going to jump in, and all you really need for this practice is your mat and a yoga strap or a band of some kind. I'm going to use my stretchy band today. I like how it feels in some of these movements, but your yoga strap will work perfectly, or even a scarf if you don't have these kind of props. So go ahead and grab that, have it nearby, and let's come into mountain pose. So we're just going to stand evenly on the feet. And if your balance allows, you might just close your eyes for a moment and take a couple of breaths. Just feeling the joints of the body stacking here, particularly encouraging the head to stack at the top of the spine so the neck feels long. And noticing where your breath is. If you're feeling kind of tense in your shoulders, it might be the case that you're feeling the breath really high in the body right now. And this might shift as we're practicing. Might even take one hand onto the belly for a moment and just see if you can encourage a little more breath awareness lower down. One more breath there. And as you open your eyes, let's have the arms by the sides and let's just shrug the shoulders up towards the ears and then slide down like you're reaching your hands into a deep pocket. So shrugging the shoulders up. Does that feel familiar? And then reaching down, elongating through the neck. Couple more times like that. Just feeling that contraction as the shoulders lift up, that lengthening as the hands reach down. This contraction is not a bad thing. We need that sometimes, but we don't necessarily need to wear our shoulders up in that shrug position all the time, like we might do if we're feeling tense and uncomfortable. Okay, good. As you bring the shoulders back to neutral, we're going to do some circles. So start with whichever arm you like and start with the palm facing up. Reach the arm forward, lifting it up next to the ear. And you'll get to a point where it really won't go any further without arching the spine and things like that. So just kind of feel where that stop is. And then turn your arm. Start to flip your palm back behind you. Reach the arm. Keep turning it as it comes around. So the back of the hand is forward. And then as your fingertips come towards the floor, flip the palm up again. Let's circle up. And then as it reaches this limit overhead, turn the palm back and keep spinning the arm bone as you circle around. Let's do that 2 more times. Bringing the breath into it. Just noticing how the shoulder feels. Let's do one more. Excellent. So really deliberate shoulder circle. And let's switch and do the other side. So we're going to start with palm up, reaching the arm up overhead. Notice where that stop is, and then rotate. So you're going to turn from the shoulder, the whole upper arm bone. So the palm flips back. Keep turning as you reach behind you and circle the hand down, and then palm up as we reach overhead. And then we flip the other way as we circle. So these are really deliberate shoulder circles. They're not just kind of like moving our arm quickly and without much intention. These are a bit more purposeful. You might even hear a few little pops and crackles. That's normal as we're bringing more fluidity into these joints. So letting that go, let's pick up our strap or band, and we're going to hold that in front of us so that it's maybe like a little bit like down below the hips and the hands are a little bit wider than the legs. And pull it taut. So if it's a band like mine, it's going to stretch a bit. If it's a yoga strap, just make it tight in between your hands. And then standing tall, stacking these joints again. Let's inhale and reach the arms up to about chest height. Feel that work in the shoulders. And then bring the arms back down. So active shoulders, strong arms. We can inhale as we're lifting and exhale as we're lowering. Excellent. And we can start to lift higher. So we can bring the arms all the way up or 3/4 of the way up and then down. Just checking out that range of motion with the arms engaged like this. What does that feel like? Bringing some intention, some awareness, some control into the shoulders. Let's do just a couple more. Trying not to arch the spine for right now. Keeping everything else neutral. Last one, reaching up, pulling on the band or the strap, and let that go. And let's toss this aside for right now. We're going to come down to a tabletop pose. So that means hands and knees. And I didn't mention a blanket before, but if you're on a harder surface and you need some padding under your knees, by all means, grab a blanket or a towel so you have that cushioning. And then we're going to bring the knees under the hips and the wrists underneath the shoulders at table. And we're going to start with the right arm, sliding it out in a few different directions. So we're going to slide to the right first with the palm down, just going straight out like a 3 o'clock position if you're imagining you're on a clock face. So left elbow is going to bend to let us do that. We're going to take this right arm and slide it out to the right. Just take a couple of breaths here. Your head can come down. I'm looking off towards the right. You might just press through this right palm and engage a little bit. Notice what you feel. And then let's inhale, slide back up. Let's try a few different angles. So maybe go to 2 o'clock on the clock face. And you can turn your head however it needs to turn to make space for this. Maybe try 1 o'clock. So we're just reaching slowly and sliding back up. And you can go at whatever angle you want. I'm kind of going around the clock. I'm going towards 12 right now, reaching. And then sliding back up. And I'm going to go back down to 4. So I'm almost reaching a little behind me now. Interesting stretch in the bicep. And then I'm going to 5. 6 would be between your knees. So you can try that if you want. What does that do? And let's do a few more angles so you can revisit any of the ones that felt really good. Going out to whatever part of the clock you want. And just noticing these different variations on the shoulder stretch. Maybe chest stretch. Maybe even back body stretch. Good. And then we're going to take the same right arm, but we're going to go underneath the left. So we're threading the needle. So this time palm will flip up. And let's go across to 9 on the clock. So we're turning and the upper arm bone is resting on the floor. Take a breath there. Press the back of that right hand down. Good. Let's slide back up and try a few more angles. And this might be interesting, weaving underneath the arm. So just work with it in a way that makes sense for you. I'm kind of going up towards 10 right now. And then I'm going to go down towards, what time is that? That's 7. 7 or 8. And just playing a few more times with whatever angles you want to visit there. Whatever felt really good. whatever time zone you want to be in. Just releasing, breathing. Awesome. Well, let's come back up and let's just sit the hips back for a moment in a child's pose. If child's pose is not your friend, then you could sit upright in a comfortable seat. Either way, let's take a few breaths. Just noticing how things are already shifting. All right, excellent. We're going to come back up and do that same sliding exercise on the other side. So perfect. Let's come into tabletop. Knees are under hips, wrists under shoulders. Working with the left arm this time. So palm down, we're going to slide out towards 9 o'clock, letting the head turn, letting the right elbow bend, and maybe just take a few breaths in this way and press the palm down. Noticing what's opening up here. Maybe it's kind of bicep, chest. And then coming back up, let's start to play with the angles. I'm going to go up towards 10. Take your time, go at your own pace. I'm going around to 11. You don't have to do all the hours and you don't have to do them the same amount. It can almost be like kind of a random, playful thing. Basically just finding what feels good to you. What does your body need today? You can reach downward towards the 8 o'clock and 7 o'clock areas if you want. Let's just do 1 or 2 more. Find your favorite spots today. And then as we slide up, we're going to go through threading the needle. So taking this left arm under the body. So start palm up and let's go across to 3 on the clock face first. Bringing that shoulder down, pressing into the floor with this left arm. Feeling the rotation. This is a twist. Let's slide back up and keep playing with the angles. So palm up, reaching through, maybe down towards the knee. Maybe up towards the palm, but going at your own pace. You don't have to go in the same order I'm going. Finding a way that feels good to you. Let's do 1 or 2 more. All right, good. We're coming back to our table and we're going to come around to a seat for a couple of movements. So you can sit in a simple cross-legged position or you could sit with your legs stretched out if that feels better. And you're certainly welcome to take a blanket and pop it underneath the sitting bones for a little bit of comfort and assistance there. So let's take the left arm forward. And with your right arm, place it on the shoulder and start to slide it across as you draw the arm across the body. So this hand is kind of sliding towards the elbow. And we're stretching through this outer arm and shoulder blade area. Take a couple of breaths there. Might even feel good to move your head around a little, turning to look over each shoulder. Nice, and then letting that go. Let's try the other side. So we're bringing the right arm forward. We're starting with the hand on the shoulder, and then it sort of slides to the elbow as we draw the arm across. And then here we can just feel into the stretch and breathe. Or we can start to move the head around a little bit. Nice. Good. And then let's bring both arms in front of us. Palms can touch it first. And then we're just going to open the arms wide as if we could touch the backs of the hands to each other behind the back. Just feel the upper back engaged for a moment. If you've been slumping in your posture at your desk, this is sort of one of those antidotes. It helps strengthen those postural muscles in the back, opens the front. Bring the arms back down. So we can repeat this last one as we're dragging the arms across, or we can do eagle arms. So you choose which you prefer. If you're going to do eagle, take your arms out and take this left elbow on the bottom. So try to hook and cross the elbows together and wrap the forearms. And then taking a few breaths here, or you could be in that original position, drawing the arm across. Eagle arms, you might even round the spine a little bit or sway the arms side to side. Just feeling a little stretch in the upper back, trapezius, shoulder area. Let that go. With the elbows bent, we're unhooking and we're taking the elbows back, kind of like that reach we did a moment ago, engaging the upper back. Let the chest lift a little bit. And then stretch the arms wide. And this time we're going to take the right elbow on the bottom, crossing the elbows, hooking there, wrapping the forearms together. Breathing in our eagle arms or drawing the arm across the body if you preferred that variation. You don't have to be statue still here. You can move the elbows around. You can move the head around. You can sway. We're trying to get unstuck here. We're not trying to, stay in any one particular spot. So let's release the arms, take the elbows back, reach them behind us, lift the chest a little bit, almost like you're pulling on something to draw the elbows back. Release the arms. Excellent. And let's turn so that we can have the feet in front of us on the mat and the hands behind us. So we're kind of leaning onto the arms now. You can have your fingertips pointing towards your seat, or you can have your hands turn out a little bit. Just kind of depends what feels better for you in your wrists in particular. And then take your shoulder blades and notice what it feels like if they kind of like your shoulders round forward. And then take your shoulder blades back towards each other. That will lift the front body a little bit. Keeping that, let's do a little pelvic tilting. We're almost like a cat-cow here, where we're going to tip the tailbone forward and let the body arch. And then we're going to tuck the tail, let things round a little bit. It's not a huge movement. Inhaling and arching forward. Exhaling, tucking, rounding. Noticing what you feel in your shoulders and arms. Good. So the arms behind us in extension right now. And you can keep going with this if this is feeling really interesting. If you want to be a little bit of a bigger stretch and you have the wrist strength for this, you could press the feet and hands down and lift the pelvis to an upward facing table. Just looking up towards the ceiling. Pelvis doesn't have to come all the way up parallel to the shoulders, but it might. Or stick with the cat-cow that we were doing, the pelvic tilt we were doing with the seat on the floor. Either way. So a couple last breaths here. In whichever version you're doing. Awesome. Let's bring it back down. Let's sit forward and just give the wrists a little love, kind of bending them forward and back, doing a few circles. Letting that effort dissipate from the wrists. Okay, we're gonna do one more move. So we're gonna want our strap or band for this, and then we're gonna be on the back. So coming down onto the back in constructive rest pose, meaning that the knees are bent, feet are on the mat. And we're gonna bring the band or strap up above the chest again. So the hands are about chest width. And then we're gonna pull them apart a little bit. So this band that I have is gonna stretch, but your strap, you're just gonna make it taut. Okay, and then like we did before, we're gonna move the arms up and down. So let's go down towards the knees first. So the band is going towards the thigh bones, and then reaching the arms up. They might go towards overhead. They might go part of the way, keeping the band taut, and then bringing it back down. So we can inhale as we're reaching the band up. Maybe you go back a little further each time with control. And then we can breathe out as we're taking the band back towards the knees. And if that breath pattern is not the right tempo for you or just doesn't quite feel right, breathe however you need to. Just as long as you keep breathing. The more mindful practice is just to find the breath that suits your needs. It's tuned into you. Maybe the arms are reaching all the way back towards the floor. Not a goal, not a requirement, but a possibility. Good. Let's reach the hands back down to the knees. And then bring the arms back up overhead. Just kind of let the hands be loose for a moment. Take a little break. Okay, now we're going to pull the arms across the body. So it's like a little game of tug of war. So pull a little bit of tightness into the band, and then let your left arm win and drag your right arm across the body. And then let your right arm win, and it's going to drag across the other way. So left arm across the body. Go side to side, tug 4. So both arms are resisting each other a little bit. This works perfectly well with the yoga strap or the stretchy band or your favorite scarf. Okay, we're going to put the last two movements together into a circle. So let's take the left arm and let it win tug of war. It's going to drag the right arm across the body. Then the right arm starts to win, but it's taking us up overhead. And then it's pulling the left arm down across the body. Left arm starting to pull you down towards the knees. So essentially just making a circle with the hands all the way around. It doesn't have to be a giant circle. It could be a smaller circle. Depends on what feels good to you. And one more thing with this that might feel good is as the hand is starting to pull you across and downward towards the knees, you could let your head come up with you. So the upper back and the head kind of come with you around that circle, then they come back down as the arms reach overhead again. Totally optional. This might be a little too effortful for some, or if you don't like how it feels on your neck, you don't need to do it. But some of us will really enjoy it. Let's do one more this direction. And then switch directions. Maybe do a few with the head on the ground first, getting the pattern going. The elbows can bend as needed. And then as you bring the hands down towards the legs, if you'd like to lift the head and shoulders, you can. Totally optional. Just enjoying your circles. Let's do our last one. When that feels complete, let go of your band or your strap, untangle yourself, toss it aside, and let's take a few moments of Shavasana. So you could let your legs stretch out, you could grab something to support you under the knees if that's helpful. Just let the arms come to the sides at an angle that feels good. Allow the head to feel really heavy here. Neck has nothing to do. Feel the weight of the arms and hands on the ground. And starting to notice where the breath is. Has it loosened up? Has it expanded? Has it started to move in some different locations, not just in the upper shoulder area? And please stay in your Shavasana for as long as you can manage today. Give yourself this time to rest and integrate the release of tension in your shoulders. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I look forward to seeing you next time.